At just 20 years old, Lena stood in the rain outside her family's house. Pregnant, shaking, and completely alone. Her father's final words still echoed in her ears. "Leave. You are no longer our daughter. No money, no shelter, only a suitcase and the baby growing inside her." She worked brutal jobs, slept in cheap rooms, and swallowed the shame of whispers everywhere she went. But she refused to give up on her child. Backhand index pointing right. If you believe a mother's love can survive anything, tap like and subscribe, because this story gets deeper. Years later, when life had worn her down to the edge, a line of black luxury cars stopped in front of her tiny home. The man who stepped out made her heart stop. He was the stranger who got her pregnant, now a billionaire, and he had no idea she had a son. As secrets explode and the family who disowned her comes crawling back, Lena must decide. Does she protect the peace she fought for, or reopen wounds that could destroy everything? Backhand index pointing right. Stay with us. This life tale will change how you see forgiveness. At just 20 years old, Lena stood in the rain outside her family's home. Pregnant, shaking, and disowned. Her father had one sentence for her: "Leave. You are no longer our daughter." She had no money, no future, and the child growing inside her would change everything. The rain fell harder as Lena stood frozen on the doorstep, her suitcase soaked, her heart shattered. Inside that house was the only family she had ever known. Outside was the unknown. Her mother refused to look at her. Her brothers turned away in shame. And her father, once her protector, called her a disgrace. No one asked if she was scared. No one asked who the father was. When the door slammed shut, the sound echoed louder than thunder. Lena walked through the night, holding her stomach, whispering apologies to her unborn baby. She didn't know where she was going, only that she could never go back. She found a cheap room by morning. Cold, empty, alone. That night, curled on the mattress, she cried until sleep claimed her. But even then, she made a promise. "No matter what happens, I will protect you." Lena had no idea that the man responsible for her pregnancy had already disappeared from her life forever, or so she thought. Before Lena was abandoned, there was a man who made her believe in love. Months earlier, Lena's life was simple. She worked at a cafe serving strangers who never noticed her until one day he did. He was quiet, polite, mysterious. Their conversations grew longer. Their smiles lingered. And one night, under dim cafe lights, he kissed her like the world had stopped turning. He never gave his full name. He said he was only in town temporarily. Their time together was short, but unforgettable. Then one day he was gone. His phone number stopped working. No goodbye, no explanation. Weeks later, Lena stared at a pregnancy test in disbelief. She searched for him everywhere, but the stranger had vanished like smoke. What Lena didn't know was that his disappearance wasn't by choice. Pregnant, jobless, disowned. This was Lena's new reality. Life on the edge hardened Lena fast. She worked brutal jobs, cleaning floors, washing dishes, folding laundry until her hands bled. Some nights she skipped meals so her baby could survive. People stared at her belly. Landlords turned her away. Shame followed her everywhere. But she refused to give up. When labor pains came, she faced them alone in a charity hospital. And when she held her son for the first time, she cried, not from pain but purpose. She named him Noah, because he saved her. Lena believed survival was the hardest part. She was wrong. Lena didn't just raise a child. She raised herself with him. Years passed. Lena became everything Noah needed. She worked 2 jobs, slept 4 hours, smiled through exhaustion. She protected him from hunger, shame, and the truth. No family photos, no grandparents, just her. Sometimes she wondered about the stranger, but she buried the thought. Peace, fragile as glass, finally settled into her life. Then one morning, everything changed. The engines arrived first. Black luxury cars rolled into Lena's poor neighborhood, stopping in front of her home. Neighbors whispered, curtains moved. Then the door opened, A man stepped out, powerful, polished, wealthy. His eyes met Lena's, and broke. "Lena," he whispered. It was him, the stranger, now a billionaire. And standing behind Lena was the son he never knew existed. The billionaire had built empires, but nothing prepared him for the moment a small boy stepped forward and asked, "Mom, who is that man?" The street went silent as Lena stood frozen between past and present. The man before her, once a stranger, now a billionaire, stared at the child peeking from behind her legs. His confident posture crumbled. His breath caught. "That's my son?" he asked, his voice barely holding together. Lena said nothing. Her silence was heavier than any accusation. Noah looked up at Lena, confused. He had never seen her this shaken. She gently placed a hand on his shoulder, grounding herself before speaking. "Go inside, sweetheart." But the billionaire Adrian knelt down instead. "What's your name?" he asked softly. "Noah," the boy replied. Adrian's eyes filled instantly. He calculated boardroom risks without blinking, but this shattered him. He reached out, then stopped, afraid to touch what he had missed. "I didn't know," Adrian whispered. "I swear, I didn't know." Lena's voice finally cut through. "You weren't there. That's what matters." As Adrian stood, shame written across his face, he made a promise that would change everything. "I'm not leaving again." Lena waited years for answers. Now she wasn't sure she wanted them. Inside Lena's modest living room, Adrian told the truth. The night he left town, his company had collapsed. His father, secretly controlling everything, forced him abroad, cut his access to money, phones, and identity. He was rebuilding from nothing, just like her. "I searched for you," Adrian said, "but by the time I returned, you were gone." Lena laughed bitterly. "So was my family. So was my life." Adrian offered money, protection, a future. Lena refused it all. "You don't get to buy back time," she said. Adrian left that night, but not before hiring private investigators. Because he wasn't done fighting. Lena said no. Adrian heard not yet. Flowers arrived. Then letters. Then silence, intentional silence. Adrian respected Lena's boundaries, but stayed close. He volunteered at Noah's school events anonymously. He watched from a distance. Noah noticed him first. "Mom, that man comes a lot." Fear gripped Lena's heart. Had the past found another way in? When Noah asked the question Lena feared most, her world tilted again. "Is he my dad?" Some truths heal. Others hurt first. Lena sat Noah down. Her hands trembled. She told him everything, carefully, honestly, gently. Noah didn't cry. He just asked one question. "Did he want me?" That question broke her. "Yes," she said. "He does now." Adrian waited outside the house that night, not knowing his son already knew. Noah opened the door himself. The same family who disowned her was about to beg. News spread fast. Lena's father saw Adrian on television. Billionaire, philanthropist, powerhouse. The name hit him like thunder. "This can't be," he whispered. Days later, there was a knock at Lena's door. Her mother stood there, crying. "We made a mistake." Lena said nothing. As Lena faced the people who abandoned her, one question lingered. Was forgiveness even possible? They called her a disgrace. Now they stood at her door, asking for mercy. Lena didn't invite them inside. Her mother stood trembling on the porch, hands clasped together as if prayer could undo the past. Behind her, Lena's father avoided eye contact. The same man who once pointed to the door and erased her from the family. "We didn't know," her mother sobbed. "We were afraid. We were wrong." Lena's chest tightened, but her face remained calm. She had practiced this moment in her mind for years, what she would say if they ever came back. But standing here now, she realized words were unnecessary. Their presence alone reopened scars she had worked so hard to seal. "You knew I was pregnant," Lena said quietly. "You just didn't care." Her father finally spoke, voice low and strained. "We thought you ruined your life." Lena looked past them, back into her home, At Noah, playing on the floor, safe, smiling. "No," she said. "I rebuilt it." They asked to see Noah. Lena didn't answer. As the silence stretched, her father dropped to his knees. Some apologies come too late. Lena closed the door, not out of anger, but control. She needed space to breathe, to think. Inside, Noah sensed the tension. "Who were they?" he asked. Lena hesitated. "People who hurt me once." Outside, her parents waited for hours. Neighbors watched. Whispers spread. For the first time, shame belonged to them. When Lena finally opened the door again, she didn't offer hugs or tears. Only boundaries. "You don't get access to my son," she said. "Not yet. Maybe not ever." Her mother nodded, broken. Her father's pride cracked silently. Across town, Adrian watched everything unfold, from a distance. He realized then that Lena wasn't just strong. She was unbreakable. That night, Adrian received a call from his lawyers. "Sir, there's a problem. Wealth can protect or destroy." Adrian's legal team warned him. Rumors were spreading. A billionaire with a hidden child. Media vultures circled, hungry for scandal. They suggested the unthinkable. "Secure custody," one lawyer said, "before someone else does." Adrian refused. "I won't hurt Lena." But the seed of fear was planted. What if the world turned against her? What if Noah became a target? Meanwhile, Lena sensed the shift. Cameras appeared near her street. Reporters asked questions. Noah came home confused. "Mom, why are people watching us?" Lena realized something terrifying. Her quiet life was ending. That night, she received a legal letter. She survived poverty. She survived betrayal. But this might break her. The letter wasn't a lawsuit, but it was a warning. Adrian's lawyers wanted to formalize parental rights. Lena's hands shook as she read the words. All her sacrifices, all her sleepless nights, and now, paperwork threatened to take it away. She confronted Adrian immediately. "You promised you wouldn't do this," she said, tears finally falling. Adrian looked devastated. "I'm trying to protect him." "So am I," she snapped. For the first time, they stood on opposite sides. Noah overheard everything and ran. When Lena realized Noah was missing, she screamed his name into the night. Every parent's worst nightmare became Lena's reality. Police lights flooded the street. Adrian searched in silence, guilt crushing him with every step. Lena blamed herself, then him, then fate. Hours passed. Then a call came. Noah had been found at Adrian's old childhood home. He wasn't hiding. He was waiting. "I wanted to know where I came from," Noah said quietly. Lena held him, shaking. Adrian stood back, unsure if he deserved to be there. Noah looked up at both of them and asked the question that would decide everything. "Can I have both of you?" Just when peace was possible, Lena chose distance. After the night Noah disappeared, something inside Lena shifted. Fear rewired her instincts. Love alone no longer felt safe, not when power hovered so close to her child. She packed quietly before dawn. No dramatic speeches, no confrontations, just a note on the table for Adrian. "I need space to protect my son." When Adrian arrived later that morning, the house was empty. The silence felt louder than any argument they'd ever had. For the first time since finding his son, Adrian panicked. Not because of business, not because of reputation, but because he might lose them both. Lena took Noah to a small coastal town, far from cameras and lawyers. She found work at a diner, returned to routine, but sleep never came easily. Noah sensed her fear. "Are we running from my dad?" he asked. Lena had no answer. That night, Adrian made a decision that shocked his board. Some sacrifices cost money. Others cost identity. Adrian stunned his executives when he stepped down, temporarily, from his role as CEO. The media exploded. Stocks dipped. But Adrian felt lighter than he had in years. He tracked Lena down, not through lawyers but patience. When he finally stood outside the diner where she worked, he didn't walk in. He waited. When Lena emerged after her shift, tired and wary, He spoke only one sentence. I choose Noah, even if it costs me everything. She saw the truth in his eyes. For the first time, his power wasn't threatening, it was absent. But fear still lingered. Lena allowed one condition. If you fail us, we're gone forever. This wasn't about money. It was about trust. Despite their efforts, legal pressure followed them. Formal custody arrangements became unavoidable. The courtroom was cold. Lena's hands trembled as she testified. Years of sacrifice compressed into minutes. She spoke of hunger, fear, resilience. Adrian spoke next, not as a billionaire, but as a father who arrived too late. I don't want ownership, he said. I want responsibility. The judge listened carefully. Outside, Lena's parents watched silently, realizing how small their past judgments now seemed. The judge asked one final question. Does the child wish to speak? Sometimes, the smallest voice carries the greatest truth. Noah stood on the witness platform, nervous but determined. I love my mom, he said. She never left me. Lena's tears fell freely. Then Noah turned toward Adrian. He didn't know about me, but he stayed when he found out. The courtroom held its breath. I want both of them, Noah said. Together or not at all. The judge nodded slowly. For the first time, hope filled the room. But outside the courthouse, Lena's father collapsed. The strongest walls fall last. Lena's father survived, but the collapse shattered his pride. In the hospital room, he finally faced his daughter, not as judge but as a man who failed. I chose reputation over you, he said, tears streaking his face. I was wrong. Lena listened silently. Forgiveness hovered, but didn't land. Meanwhile, the court granted joint custody, with conditions protecting Lena's autonomy. For the first time in years, her future felt balanced, not controlled. But one final confrontation remained. Lena stood outside her childhood home, ready to face the past one last time. The door that once shut her out was open now. Lena stood across the street from her childhood home, the same house that had erased her at 20. The paint had faded. The gate squeaked in the wind. Nothing looked smaller than it used to, except the power it once held over her. Adrian offered to come with her. Lena shook her head. This is mine. She walked up alone. Her mother opened the door, eyes already wet. Inside, everything felt preserved in memory. The couch where she once slept, the table where her father passed judgment. They didn't yell this time. Her father's voice trembled. We lost you because we loved our pride more. Lena listened. She didn't cry. Healing had hardened her tears into something stronger. Her father reached for Noah. Lena didn't stop him. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's choosing peace. Noah stood politely before the grandparents he had never known. He smiled soft, curious, innocent. Her mother wept openly. Her father bowed his head. I don't want your money, Lena said, or your regret. She laid out her terms. Slow rebuilding, boundaries, truth. No pretending the past didn't happen. They agreed instantly. For the first time, forgiveness felt possible. Then Lena heard what her family had hidden. Some betrayals come late. Lena learned her family had known how powerful Adrian was years earlier. They chose silence, hoping she'd disappear quietly. The room went cold. So you knew, Lena whispered. Her father broke down completely. The almost forgiveness shattered. Lena turned toward the door and didn't look back. The strongest endings are quiet. Lena didn't expose them, didn't shame them publicly, didn't destroy their reputation. She walked away. Back home, she held Noah tightly. I choose peace, she whispered. Adrian watched her, not as a savior but as a partner. Years later, someone unexpected returned. This wasn't about wealth. It never was. Years passed. Noah thrived. Lena built a quiet business of her own. Adrian remained present but never controlling. One afternoon, Lena received a letter. From her mother. 3 simple words. We understand now. Lena folded it and smiled. Not because they deserved forgiveness, but because she had healed. Some stories don't end with applause. They end with peace.